every day was like winning the lottery. I've often compared it to, like I like chocolate milk. When I lived on 21 Jackson Street, my parents, I loved dudes like chocolate milk. I think we all like it, sir. When I lived on 21 Jackson Street, now I walk down to Cumberland Farms like a block and a half away from my house, and I pick up a carton of chocolate milk all the time. And I always think about this career of mine as being akin to me walking down to Cumberland Farms, reaching in for a chocolate milk, and all of a sudden balloons and banners drop. And they're like, congratulations, man, you just won a milk factory. And I'm like, what? They're like, yes, and it's got a chocolatizer. And I'm like, get out of here. Like, you could have all the chocolate milk you ever want in this life, plus you could sell it to other motherfuckers. I'm like, get out of here, man. Congratulations. And I went into the fucking chocolate milk business. And it was great, because I love chocolate milk, and I like fucking making it for others to drink, and I could put it in my own particular blend so it didn't taste plain or anything like that. And just built a little chocolate milk concern, a thriving chocolate milk concern that I really wasn't supposed to have, that somebody gave to me at Cumberland Farms. And then 20 years into that, owning that chocolate, the chocolate milk factory, or Milk Co, or whatever the fuck I'd call it, Smilk. 20 years into that, you're standing on the top floor, you know, of your office, overlooking the fucking, you know, the factory floor where they make milk. And you're just thinking like, wow, man, all I wanted was a chocolate milk. And this all happened. And it was great. I would never bitch about it. I just wasn't prepared. And if I knew that it was going to go this far, believe me, I would put in some training ahead of time, you know. I didn't think I was going to be a filmmaker, but what I did was I spent the last, 17, 18 years just essentially going to film school in front of people, one movie at a time. Just like everyone saw our very rank first amateur film, which was funny and has some character stuff in it, but didn't look like much. But it was enough to get us started. And it was enough to get me to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And people just kind of watched me go to film school over the last 20 years. But now I'm kind of done. Like I've reached a point where in the beginning I was struggling to tell stories. I mean, in terms of visually telling the stories. Telling the stories, writing them, that was easy. You know, the first 5, like right up to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they were easy. All those movies were sitting here and here when I was living at my parents' house on 21 Jackson Street, and that was the source of everything. That's where I sat and dreamed. Years to just sit there and dream and stuff. And one day somebody's like, here's your golden ticket, cash in those dreams. I'm like, oh shit, I've got 5 movies I know I want to make now. And boom, they all happen. And then once I get to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, I suddenly realized that I was done. Like I didn't have anything left to tell. There was nothing left from 21 Jackson Street. I'd said everything I wanted to say. But I'd gotten into the movie business. How the fuck do you walk away from that? Somebody punches your golden ticket, you shut up and stay. And that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I guess that's what people do. You just start manufacturing movies. So Jersey Girl, which is a movie I dearly love, came from me going, you'll only encourage me. That came from me going like, well, I gotta start making up movies, I guess, man, if I want to stick around and stuff. And Ben had asked me, he's like, what do you want to do next? And I was like, I didn't really have anything. I was like, there's this thing I was thinking about writing for Bill Murray. He's like, what is it? And I was like, all right, I'll show you. And it was the first 50 pages of Jersey Girl. And Ben was like, fuck Bill Murray, give this to me. And I was like, why? Dude, the character's supposed to be middle-aged and shit like that. I was like, middle-aged, whatever, you know. And I was like, all right. And suddenly, boom, we were off making that movie. And as I was making that movie, I would sit there and go like, it's weird. When I saw Slacker on my 21st birthday, I never sat there going, okay, one day I want to make a movie about a guy who loses his wife and has to raise a kid by himself. That wasn't part of the plan either. That was just something that came along later, and I was like, well, I guess I'm just expected to keep going here. And then, you know, after that is Clerks 2, which is tied to the first one, so I don't really consider it part of the second cycle of films. It's still kind of an extension of Clerks. Zack and Miri, which is a movie I dearly love, is me kind of reaching into my... That's me reaching into my past and telling my own story. You know, like I ran out of ideas, so I was like, what can I make a movie about? Oh yeah, I'll make a movie about how we made Clerks, but it'll be using porn and me and Scott don't fuck. And boom, that's what Zack and Miri is. And at that point, when a person like me, like I'm a writer first and foremost. When I got into this, all I wanted to do was write and direct, and I didn't want to direct as much as I wanted to write. But I'd heard so many stories about motherfuckers who write scripts, and then dudes who come in and chicks come in, take it over, trash it, make it unrecognizable, directors were to be feared and stuff like that. So I was like, well, if I want to protect my own script, I guess I might as well direct it. How hard can it be? And that kind of kick-started the fucking career at that point. But I was a writer and still remain a writer first and foremost. I never think of myself in terms of a director. I think of myself in terms of a writer. And the moment a writer runs out of shit that they want to say, it's time to push back gracefully. And I didn't do that. I just stayed, like everybody else did, because I was like, I guess this is what we're supposed to do. I saw nobody else affected like me. I saw nobody else reacting like me. I talked to other filmmakers and be like, do you think we should stop at a certain point? The only one who ever agreed was Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino was just like, I'm getting out of this game when I'm 50. Directing is a young man's game. I said, dude, what are you kidding me? It's amazing. The greatest job in the world, man. We get to make pretend for a living. He's going, yeah, but best storytelling comes from younger people and stuff. The older you get, the less good you are at this job. And that always kind of stuck with me, even though I didn't agree with him and shit. But he is a filmmaker. Quentin is put on this earth to write and direct, particularly direct, and even write. He's really equally great at both. Steven Spielberg put on this earth to direct films. David Fincher, same fucking thing. I'm not. I was put on this earth maybe to tell stories. Directing them, filmmaking, that was one way to tell the story. The only way I could think to get in, to start the conversation with the audience. Because to me, Clerks is no longer indicative of a film. I guess I've just been beaten. It's been beaten into me over the years by people on the internet. You suck as a filmmaker, what you do is not film. So I've gotten to a point where I just agree with them and shit. It's much easier. And on Clerks, I'm like, you're right, it's not a film. Clerks is more like a $27,575 icebreaker. It's just a way for me to step forward and be like, hi, my name's Kevin Smith, I'd like to talk to you for the next 50 years. So at that point, man, you feel like when I'm at Jersey Girl and Zack and Miri and then Cop Out is me literally going like, well, shit, I don't have anything to say. But I'm a director, so I should direct, and I've never directed anybody else's script with the exception of the Reaper Pot. Let me see if I could do this. That thing came along at the right time. And I was very happy with it in terms of the job that I was hired to do. I was satisfied that I did it. And I was satisfied because I looked at that first fucking movie, and I looked at Cop Out back to back, and I was just like, I see definite growth. Ta-da! It only took 20 years, but still, you know, there's some definite fucking growth. But when a guy like me is sitting there going like, hey man, I'll direct somebody else's script now. That's just me trying to think of shit to do to stay at the party, man. Because again, who wants to go? It is the greatest job in the world when somebody's like, here's a bunch of money, go tell a story, go make pretend for a living. It's fantastic, but I don't have anything left to say. Anything I want to say, I say every day in a fucking podcast now. Like, it's tougher for me to write comedy because I just pour all the comedy out for free every day. And that, to me, is where I'd much rather be. Like, the making films is great, it's high profile, and then sure, they pay you well, they can. I didn't make any money to do this. Like, same thing with Clerks 2, took no salary, nobody wanted to pay me, I just wanted to do the movie really bad. So you cinch your belt, do whatever you can to make the flick. So the money's never been the thing to me. The thing has been the urgency of the conversation. And film has always been so stymieing for a guy who likes to communicate a lot like myself, because it takes so fucking long and it's so expensive. Think about it. Red State I wrote 4 years ago. It's taken me 4 years to have this conversation with the audience. But meanwhile, if I'd recorded it as a podcast or just said, aren't these fucking religious people fucked up and put it as a podcast or something like that? Wouldn't have cost any money. Wouldn't have to get all those people together. We wouldn't be out touring the movie and shit like that. It's just simpler to sit in front of a microphone and talk. To me, at least, that's what I feel like right now, because I feel like I tell you a story. In your head, you're building the best film if possible. You're building an amazing visual representation, word picture in your head. Far better than anything I could put up on a screen. That's more interesting to me, because my strong suit is not the visuals. My strong suit is this, writing dialogue and shit like that. I'm a talker, first and foremost. Film is not my first language. Film, me as a director, always occurred to me as like, almost like as if I took 2 years of Spanish in high school, and then moved to Spain and tried to blend. You know, it's just like, that's not my native tongue and stuff. So I'm kind of, it's taken me 20 years, and it, you know, it's not, it comes from like doing two decades of film work, and just also getting there, getting to the point where like, there's nothing I can bring to it, really. It's going to be variations on theme from here on in, or even worse, it's going to be diminishing returns. So I was just like, okay, what does one do in that instance? And then I was like, maybe you just leave, maybe you just stop. Like, nobody says you have to keep going. You're the only person saying it. You're the one. So you could just kind of put it down and back away. So I started thinking about, okay, maybe I could. And that was around Zack and Miri. I was like, maybe it's time to go. And I started thinking about how to leave and how to kind of go out. And I thought about this movie. And I thought about my first got into the business, making clerks. It was funny, and that's what I like to do is comedy stuff. But that wasn't like, I want to make a bunch of comedy.